The chill is in the air, and what goes well with cold weather? Soups. The Coker Market, located in Coker, Alabama, has the following soups to choose from: meaty vegetable soup, which is absolutely delicious; loaded potato soup; black bean soup; smoked ham and white bean chili; regular chili, which is another great option; or Creole gumbo. Now, the Coker Market is open Wednesday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 7 p.m. And to find out which soups they are going to have each day, you can find out at the Coker Market's Facebook page, The Coker Market. So check out their Facebook page today to see what kind of soups that the Coker Market is going to have, and go by there and get warmed up with some of the soups there at the Coker Market. How would you like to live where you love in the state of Alabama? Whether it is you're upsizing, downsizing, retiring at the beach, or relocating for your job, then you are going to want to contact Celeste Hagler, owner of First Class Real Estate South Home Group, with brokers in Tuscaloosa, Orange Beach, and Huntsville. They can help you with the buying, selling, and investment needs throughout the state of Alabama. You can contact Celeste at 205-861-5698. Once again, that is 205-861-5698, and schedule a consultation to discuss your real estate goals anywhere across the state of Alabama. Jeff Bagwell of Honey Hole Fisheries right here in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, is a professional biologist who specializes in lake management. If you are interested in helping build the pond or lake of your dreams, or if you need help deciding if property you own is a good location to build a pond, you can contact Jeff Bagwell at 205-799-0192. Once again, that is Jeff Bagwell and Honey Hole Fisheries at 205-799-0192. Contact him today and let him help you build the lake or pond of your dreams, or also stock your pond or lake with fish that you most desperately need. This is the Stingray Show, and coming up on this edition today at 4:30 Central, 5:30 Eastern, the Music City Bowl is there in Nashville, and it features Tennessee and Illinois. Tennessee took a slight step back this season, winning only 8 games in the regular season after making the college football playoffs a year ago. Ryan Silva of Rocky Top Insider is on deck to join me to talk about the Music City Bowl between the Vols and the Fighting Illini right after this open, right here on the Stingray Show.
Hi, this is Tim Brando with a reminder. Look out, you're about to feel the buzz of Stingray.
This is Stephen Ray, aka Stingray, coming to you live from Tuscaloosa, Alabama.
I'm Heath Hopkins. I'm here in DeSoto County, Mississippi, right outside of Memphis, Tennessee. You know, Mark, I'm going to put you on the spot. Do you feel that responsibility to pay it forward and give some kid a chance coming up in the ranks, kind of like Tony did for you?
Why do you think I'm talking to Stingray tonight?
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
No, I mean, look, no.
Heath, Stingray, Here's the deal. When you get involved with Texas, it's like getting married to a stripper. and let me explain this. It looks good. It's kind of sexy on the surface. Yeah. But then you get the baggage, you get the drama, you get all that eventually comes with it. And that's what you get with Texas, and that's what the Big 12 learned.
And Heath, any thoughts on our show moving forward?
Hey, with the Stingray Show, if you don't like it, you better learn to love it, because it's the best show going today, baby. Woo!
And with that, I want to welcome you inside another edition of the Stingray Show. Hope all is well with everyone out there. We've got 3 games on deck today. However, only one of them features an SEC team, and that, of course, is the Music City Bowl there in Nashville, Tennessee, at Nissan Stadium between Tennessee and Illinois. And like I said off the top of the show, Tennessee won 8 games this year after making the college football playoffs last year, and unfortunately, during the time between their last game and the Music City Bowl, they did let go of their defensive coordinator, and there will be a new signal caller on defense coming into the season for 2026 up there up on Rocky Top to break down the hire of the defensive coordinator and to preview the Music City Bowl. Here is Rocky Top Insider's own Ryan Silva. Ryan, how are things with you up on old Rocky Top?
Doing good, getting ready to get in the car and head over just a little bit west over to Nashville for the game tonight. So it should be a fun one. Never going to complain about some college football, especially SEC football, right? So even though it's the Music City Bowl, it's not the college football playoffs or anything like that. It's still fun to be there, still fun to watch and see what goes down.
And Ryan, easy for you. It's in your own state.
Yeah. So from a media perspective, I think we were all rooting for the Music City Bowl just because it was going to be some easy travel. Maybe not the glitz and glamour of some of the other ones, but at this point, it's either you're in the playoffs or you're not in the playoffs. Right. So what's really the difference between the Citrus Bowl and the Music City Bowl and the Duke's Mayo Bowl? It's all the same at this point. Who really cares? It's just a bowl game.
All right. So let's go ahead and start before we get to the bowl game about the defensive coordinator being let go and Jim Knowles being hired at Tennessee. Give us your thoughts on the hire of the new defensive coordinator at Tennessee.
Well, when they did fire Tim Banks, it felt like that was maybe like the dream scenario was, hey, Jim Knowles is now on the market because of the Penn State situation. He was officially not going to return there with that new staff. So if you could go out and get him, sure. But it still felt, I don't want to say unrealistic, but like, okay, let's maybe think of some other options too, because that is like the big fish in the pond right now. But Josh Heupel went out and got him. And he said too, like that was the first guy on the list. That was the number one guy that they wanted to go out and get when they fired Tim Banks. And so for them to go out and land him, I think is a big deal. And if you look at his track record, it's interesting because it's not always year one. So there's going to maybe have to be some patience. We'll see if that trend gets bucked a little bit this year. But historically, you look at what he did at Duke and Oklahoma State and Ohio State. Year one, maybe year two isn't the best. It's not bad, but it's not, a top 25, top 10 defense in the country. And then all of a sudden he gets them rolling. And then you see what happened at Ohio State, for example, too. Year one, it was fine, wasn't the best. Year two and year three were unbelievable. And he had one of the best defenses in the country. So if you can do that at Tennessee, it feels like the future is bright. Even if next year is, let's say it's not the best defense ever, but it's still top 50. It's still a top 45, 55 type of defense. And you have the offense that Josh Heupel had this year. You could still win a lot of football games and then go into the next year. And then maybe that's when Jim Knowles really starts to get things rolling like he has previously in his career in year two, year three. And then you have a really good roster. You have either a George McIntyre, Faison Brandon, 2 really highly recruited young quarterbacks on the roster that by that point you think would be one of the starters. That's like, okay, now all of a sudden, and then this last signing class they just signed, that's a top 5 in the that's when maybe things start to really click and this team could really start to roll. The question is there going to be the patience for that? Because it's not a Tennessee fan thing. I'm not taking a dig at Tennessee fans. It's college football fans. It's SEC fans. There's not a lot of patience involved. So we'll see what that defense looks like next year.
So, Ryan, another big topic right now is the always wild and crazy transfer portal. Auburn and Texas have been gutted by the transfer portal. We're not hearing very much out of Tennessee. What does the transfer portal look like from the Tennessee Volunteer side? Who has left the program?
I mean, you look back, the number one ranked player is going to be Boo Carter, but he's been gone since halfway through the season. So it's not like that's a big surprise. So if you look at just who's left in this offseason portion heading into the bowl game, it's really just 2 guys that kind of take big headlines, and one of them's your backup quarterback in Jake Merklinger. But the writing on the wall felt like it was there for that one when Joey Aguilar won that quarterback competition in fall camp. So that one wasn't a big surprise. The other one was Peyton Lewis, who's been mostly your third string running back, sometimes your second string guy. He's had some games where he's looked really good, had some games where he struggled to kind of get his footing on the field and be a consistent contributor. He would have played a role next year. He would have been in that rotation, probably been moved up to running back 2, but just not that I've heard this from his mouth or anything, but just seems like a situation where he probably wanted a little bit more play time, wanted to be the guy in an offense, and Deshaun Bishop's returning for Tennessee next year, and that's the guy in your running back room. So it wasn't going to happen at Tennessee next year. Makes sense. Maybe you want to look elsewhere. I fully expect him to land on a pretty competent Power 4 team that's looking for a playoff role, because he is a really highly recruited guy out of high school. He showed the talent. He's got a great frame. But those are really the only 2 guys right now. I'm sure we'll see a little bit more, maybe even as early as tonight after this game. We've seen that a few times throughout bowl season so far. It's kind of just the night after the bowl game. Some guys hit the portal. I'm sure tomorrow maybe we'll get some more news too. But so far there hasn't been anyone that's like, oh, man, that's crazy and I didn't expect that, and that stinks for Tennessee. It's been a lot of, yeah, that makes a lot of sense and they'll be fine. It's going to be a lot more interesting when this thing does open up in a few days, what Tennessee goes ahead and gets. We know they need a quarterback most likely, and that's they're a team that's looking for a big fish in that aspect as well. Right. They might need to go grab a running back. They're going to have to bolster the defense and the secondary and the defensive line. There's a lot of pieces this year that they could really benefit from landing a good portal class from, so I'm curious what they do right when that opens up.
Can you imagine if Tennessee got Cam Coleman?
I would take it.
Wow.
Unbelievable. So yeah, sure. I would love to watch him 12 Saturdays a year. That would be fantastic.
All right. So let's go ahead and briefly recap the final game of the season. It was a one that Tennessee fans want to forget. It left them with a bad taste in their mouth. A 21-point loss to Vanderbilt. Recap that game for us, please.
I mean, it was close up until halftime. Like they were right there with them. They're step and step. They had, they were taking the lead, and it felt like, okay, this is going to be, a fight till the end. And maybe it's who has the ball last or whatever you want to call it. And it's going to be a situation where Tennessee, even if they lose, it's like, all right, well, you played a good Vanderbilt team down to the wire. And in the second half, they just completely fell apart, and that wasn't the case at all. And Vanderbilt ran away with it. And I think that was what stuck the most with Tennessee fans after that game, was similar to the Alabama game. Should you have beaten that team? Should you have beaten Vanderbilt? Probably. You're at home. Should you have beaten Alabama? Probably not. But in both situations, at the very least, it should have been a close game. You shouldn't have got blown out on the road at Alabama. You shouldn't have gotten blown out at home against Vanderbilt. That one especially was pretty unexcusable feeling. So that was, I think, the biggest frustration about it, was the margin of defeat rather than just losing in general. But it certainly was not a great feeling for Tennessee, I think, to lose to your in-state rival, to the program that you like to claim dominance over. And historically, obviously, you have, and they have, their best season of all time, and you weren't able to play spoiler to it. Now, they didn't make the playoffs, so Tennessee fans have, I guess, that hat to hang, where still Vandy wasn't in the field, but they still went into your house and beat you pretty bad, so that couldn't have felt great.
All right, so let's go on ahead briefly and talk about the Music City Bowl that is this evening at 5:30 Eastern, 4:30 Central, and Tennessee and Illinois, oddly enough, on the gridiron have never matched up. Give us a preview of this game going in.
It feels like it's going to be pretty offensive heavy, just because of what both sides are losing on the defensive end. I mean, you look at Illinois, and they're not going to have Gabe Akis, who's been one of the best edge rushers in the country, and he will probably be an early second round, maybe sneak into the first round type of pick. Like, he's been really good. And then they're missing a safety as well. That's just kind of been a veteran presence back there, a leader for them. He opted to have surgery before this game while he figures out if he wants to go to the NFL or come back next year. Those are two really big pieces for Illinois that they're not going to have. For Tennessee, you're used to not having Jermod McCoy, so him opting for the NFL draft isn't a big deal. But you're now missing Colton Hood, who's stepped in Jermod McCoy's role, stepped in Ricky Gibson's absence, and been really good. And he's a potential first-round pick. Now he's not going to be there. You're not going to have an edge rusher in Josh Josephs, who's another potential first-round pick. He's not going to play in this game because he's preparing for the NFL draft. Arian Carter, who's been the leader of the defense and one of the best linebackers in the league. He's not going to be there because he's preparing for the NFL draft. So that's 3 pieces on defense that are big deals to not have. Primarily cornerback is where I'm most curious what Tennessee's going to look like. You'll have Ty Redmond, who was a true freshman this year, who was really good really good by the end of the season after struggling a little bit early in his career. I'm not too worried about him. It's what's going to be on the other side now that Colton Hood's gone. You're probably going to start a true freshman. Maybe it's Trey Poteet. Maybe you go Timothy Merritt. Either way, it's a guy with not a lot of experience. And with the quarterback on Illinois, Luke Altmaier, who's been really good this year and been really good in his career, I'm curious how much he can take advantage of that on offense. On the other side, Tennessee's offense isn't going to be missing much. They won't have Chris Brazzell, which is obviously a relatively big deal. He's one of the best receivers in the SEC, but it still feels like that you should have enough production through Mike Matthews, through Braylon Staley, through one of the freshmen in Radarius Jackson or Travis Smith Jr. that'll fill in for Chris Brazzell. But the pass game should be there. Even though you don't have Peyton Lewis in your running back room, Deshaun Bishop's been fantastic, and he should be good. So I feel like both sides right now are licking their lips a little bit on the offensive end and excited to put up a bunch of points. And I expect this one to be a bit of a shootout, I think, which should be fun for even a neutral fan. Even if not a Tennessee, not an Illinois fan, you just want to watch some good college football. Shootout in the Music City Bowl should be a lot of fun.
Even Vegas sees it being a shootout. Have you seen the over-under this morning?
No, I can't remember off the top of my head. What's it at?
61.5.
Whew. Yeah. I mean, we're talking both teams pushing around 30, and I not this is not financial advice, but I would maybe touch that over.
Yes, take the over, kids. All right, let's go ahead and dive into it a little bit more. If you're Tennessee, where should you be concerned that Illinois can take advantage of you?
I think it's that defensive side, talking about the cornerbacks position again, where you're going to have 2 true freshmen. And Ty Redmond, like I said, he's been good this year towards the end. He's taken a dramatic step, and I think they're really excited about his development. Right. But your 2 options to replace him seem like it's going to be cornerbacks or freshmen. So that could get scary. Luke Altmaier is a good quarterback. They have good weapons. The pass game could be interesting when you're especially talking about you have an interim defensive coordinator in William Minch, who's your linebackers coach. He's going to be calling plays in this one until you refresh and you go to Jim Knowles. So there's also going to be that aspect of, hey, this is the last game in this system. It's familiar, but those guys are chomping at the bit a little bit to get to what's next, to learn this next system, to learn those next play calls in the playbook. So that's what concerns me the most. Is I think the defense should do a fine enough job stopping the run game. It's the pass game that worries me. And then if you start getting gashed through the air, then maybe Illinois is able to run the ball a little bit better than they should be able to. And that's when all of a sudden Illinois' offense has a lot of success. Because again, I go back to Luke Altmaier is a really good quarterback. Tennessee is, reportedly after him in the spring window when Nico left. He was a guy that a lot of fans wanted as well to come to Tennessee in that window. There's a reason for that. He's one of the better quarterbacks in the country, one of the more experienced quarterbacks in the country. And it's the Music City Bowl, sure. It's a bowl game, sure. But if Luke Altmaier goes out and throws for 300 yards and 3 touchdowns and no interceptions, it's going to look good for NFL scouts, even if it's against a little bit of a depleted Tennessee defense. And the Tennessee defense has been good. That's still a little bit of a statement for him to maybe try to improve his draft stock and get drafted.
Okay, where do you feel like that Tennessee can take advantage of Illinois?
Illinois just hasn't had a great pass rush. They haven't had great pass defense. It's pass rush minus Gabe Yakis. And so without him, what I'm saying is I'm curious how much they can get after the quarterback. I'm curious how much they can stop the run. I'm curious what that secondary does against Tennessee's receivers that have been so good even without Chris Brazzell. So again, that lends itself to a shootout, right? When we're talking on both ends, it's like, man, these offenses could pass for a lot of yards, and there could be a lot of openings down the field. So it's a similar boat, I think, for Tennessee, where it's like, if Joey Aguilar can take care of the ball and he doesn't turn the ball over and he doesn't make those mistakes that he's been prone to at times this year, and he can, find his guys, then I think Tennessee will put up a bunch of points too. And they're always going to try to run the ball, even if it's not really working. They're going to try to set up their pass by hammering it on the ground and making you respect it. But I also think Deshaun Bishop could have a really good game as well. And he, redshirt sophomore from Knoxville, dreamed of playing at Tennessee, was a walk-on, worked his way to this position. He doesn't take anything for granted. So he's going to be running with his hair on fire this whole game too. I think Tennessee's offense is going to have a decent amount of success as well. And man, it just really has the makings of a shootout. I feel like most of the time when it feels this obvious it'll be a shootout, it ends up being like 17-10 or something. But it would really surprise me if these teams weren't at least pushing towards that over-under total we talked about.
Ryan, I'm going to make you pick it. How do you see Tennessee, Illinois, Music City Bowl? Tennessee is currently sitting on 8 wins for this season, a year removed from going to the college football playoffs last year. Do they get a 9th win today to have a feel-good story for them going into this off season? Who wins? Tennessee, Illinois?
If this was a regular season game and there's no opt-outs and all those different types of things, I would take Tennessee on a neutral site. I'd probably take Tennessee at Illinois even. With the cornerback situation we've touched on, with you're missing Chris Brazzell, you're missing so many more pieces. Not that Illinois isn't missing anyone, but it just feels like Tennessee's been gutted more from opt-outs to go to the NFL than Illinois has. I lean Illinois, but man, it feels like a coin flip. It's man, who has the ball last with 2 minutes and can go down the field and put together a drive. It could very well be that type of situation. I expect it to be close. I expect it to be high scoring. I could see a situation where one of the teams goes up 14-0 or something, and in the blink of the eye, it's back to 14-14. It's tough for me to see this one getting out of hand one way or the other. So in a coin flip, I guess I'll put a little bit of an extra weight on the Illinois side, so there's a higher chance it lands on the Illinois side than the Tennessee side. But at the same time, I would not be surprised at all if UT went out and won this game. I don't think that'd be a shock at all. So I'll say 55% chance Illinois, 46, 44, 45% chance Tennessee. But if I have to pick a team, and I did over at RTI, Rocked Up Insider, yesterday, and we did our game predictions as well, I took Illinois by like a field goal. I'll give the edge to them, but not by much.
All right, so let's go ahead briefly, and I want to get your take on a couple of games outside of Tennessee. And that, of course, the first one is a rematch for the college football playoffs moving to the next round. It is Ole Miss, Georgia. Who wins the second matchup?
I'll take Georgia. You have your offensive play caller, you have your DC and he's head coach now and all that for Ole Miss, but you still don't have your head coach, and that maybe it gets overblown a little bit, but it just feels tough to go into a game against Georgia, who's got one of the best, probably the best head coach in the country right now in Kirby Smart. And he's got that team playing a lot better football right now than they were earlier in the season too. And it feels like, maybe they're reaching their stride a little bit. I'll lean to the Bulldogs in that one. I'll say Georgia by probably 10 points even. I'll take them to win by 2 possessions.
All right. And finally, man, the Rose Bowl, Tennessee's other arch rival, who they unfortunately lost to earlier this season as well. It is Alabama and it is Indiana. Mm-hmm. Who do you have winning in potentially a rainy, soggy Pasadena between Alabama and Indiana?
Yeah, I guess we're not going to get the beautiful Rose Bowl sunset necessarily if it's a little bit overcast. I'll take Indiana in that one. I think Kalen DeBoer is a good coach. I think Ty Simpson's way exceeded my expectations. I wasn't the highest on him going into the year, and he's been one of the better quarterbacks in the country. So I was wrong on that, and he's been really good. But I'll still lean Indiana because Curt Cignetti is also debatably the best coach in the country right now for what he's done at Indiana in his 2 years there. Fernando Mendoza was deservedly, in my opinion, the Heisman Trophy winner. At least I'll say this. My pick was Jacob Rodriguez. I like J-Rod out of Texas Tech. But if you had to pick from the finalists, I'm fine with Fernando Mendoza winning. And I think that's going to – I think their offense is going to be enough. The defense looked good against Ohio State as well. Like I think that it's a good combination that got going there. They're not my pick to win the national championship necessarily, but I think they'll have enough to beat Alabama, who does have some holes and does have some issues. And I think this is going to be the end of the line for Kalen DeBoer in year 2 at Tuscaloosa. Not he's getting fired. Just this is the end of his second season, I should say.
Right. Who do you have winning it all?
Man, my underdog pick is still Texas Tech. Like I love Jacob Rodriguez. I love that defense. I think that it feels like a perfect storm for them right now, right? My brain kind of tells me Georgia, like they have the experience, they have all this and that, and Kirby Smart's done it. But man, my heart's telling me Texas Tech. So I'm gonna continue to roll with Texas Tech. I think it would be a great end to a kind of wild year of college football too. for a program like Texas Tech that isn't necessarily like a juggernaut or a historical juggernaut or something like that, to kind of almost come out of nowhere in some ways and have this perfect storm of a team and finish this thing off with a championship. I'm going Red Raiders.
So, dude, no respect for the defending national champions in Ohio State? Come on now.
They're probably I'll probably put them third on my list of if I had to, rank who I think is going to win. I'd put them above Indiana still. I'd put Indiana fourth, and I would put Ohio State third, Georgia second, Texas Tech first. I think is the top four that I would roll with. So I'm not snubbing them. I'm not disrespecting them. But I'll side with those guys ahead of them.
Dude, I'm going to tell you what. I have a feeling that Oregon, Texas Tech is going to be the best game this week.
Mm-hmm. I could easily. I mean, Oregon's a great team too. Obviously, they got a great quarterback, and Dan Lanning's done a fantastic job there as well. So it is like, hey, we got 8 teams left, and it feels like a really good 8 teams too. So it is. Maybe it almost feels a little more exciting this time going into this round than last year. So I'm fired up to watch all these games.
And I will tell you this too, as we walk out the door, and I want to get your take on it. I literally could see one blowout this round. I think Miami is walking into a buzzsaw with Ohio State. I literally could see Miami and Ohio State turning into a rematch or a redo of Oregon and Ohio State from last year.
I could see it. I would agree with that. Miami feels like the weakest link left in the field right now, even over Ohio State, or not, even over Ole Miss without Lane Kiffin. I would still, like, if it was Miami versus Ole Miss, I would still go Ole Miss on a neutral site right now. So I would tend to agree. If there is a blowout that you had to pick, I think it would probably be that one.
Right.
I don't buy Miami being a true national title contender. Good team, solid team. I mean, you just went on the road and beat Texas A&M in their own house in the playoffs. Like, that's a big deal. I don't think that they're a team that's going to win a national title, though, no.
But Carson Beck did not even throw for 100 yards in that game.
Yeah, I mean, SEC fans know the Carson Beck experience, and Tennessee fans have a funny view of it because they're like, man, this guy turned the ball over. He's not very good. Tennessee was to Athens last year, and Carson Beck looks like Tom Brady. So
yeah.
It's a funny experience watching him play sometimes.
Ryan, go and enjoy covering the Music City Bowl today. Be safe in your travels going from Knoxville to Nashville, and we would love to catch up with you later on to talk about Tennessee basketball as we head into the conference schedule moving after the New Year holiday.
Yeah, absolutely. Appreciate you having me on, man. Thank you.
Hey, go Vols. Let's go.
Appreciate it. Thanks.
All right. All right, so guys, that is going to wrap up the interview there with Ryan Silva and the discussion of the Music City Bowl. After this advertising from one of our wonderful advertisers and our sponsor, South's Finest Meats, we are going to be doing our post show right after this. Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. I tell people when they come in, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. We've got the capability to process it, make it. If you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do your brisket blend. We'll do your chuck blend. We'll do your sirloin blend. We do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. It's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. People call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, ma'am, how many would you like in a box? You want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show. Christmas time and the holiday season is fastly approaching, and let me tell you about the best place to get good-looking game day gear. J&J Apparel is your trusted location for one-of-a-kind, officially licensed collegiate apparel for the following teams: Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. They have been serving those fan bases since 2004. Get it online at jnjapparel.net. Once again, that is jnjapparel.net, and there you will find unique polos, tees, and hats for Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. So head on over there now to J&J's website and get some officially licensed collegiate apparel for the fan in your life for Alabama, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Auburn through J&J Apparel. We all enjoy the changing of the seasons. Fall is a special time to be thankful for our families and many blessings. It is also a great time, though, to review your insurance coverages. Alpha Insurance and hometown agent Jeff Nee can help you personalize your insurance needs. The more you protect, the more you save. With helpful customer service teams right here to serve you in Alabama and over in Mississippi, you can count on Alpha to provide the insurance plan that provides the protection that you need. For all your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs, call Alpha agent Jeff Nee or drop by his office at 202 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite 101 in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And remember, with Jeff Nee, the more you protect, the more you save. For over 100 years, the Bank of Moundville has been a name clients can trust. The Bank of Moundville is more than just a bank. They're your neighbors, your friends, and your community partners. Their unique approach to financial education has always centered around families. They believe that financially strong homes today lay the foundation for a brighter futures for tomorrow's generation. You can call them today at 205-371-2227. Once again, that is 371-2227 to schedule an appointment to build your financial security. The Bank of Moundville is a member FDIC and an equal housing lender. All right, and I want to welcome you back inside the Stingray Show. This officially is the post show here on the Stingray Show. You just missed our interview with Ryan Silva of Rocky Top Insider, previewing the Music City Bowl between Tennessee and Illinois. That game kicks off at 4:30 Central this afternoon on ESPN. Then after that, we've got the Valero Alamo Bowl, and this one I'm interested in because it is against Lincoln Riley and USC taking on TCU. That game is at 8 o'clock. And before both of those games at 1 o'clock, we have the Independence Bowl between Coastal Carolina and Louisiana Tech. So there are 3 games on deck today, and that, of course, is what's ongoing here in college football. Heath, how are you this morning? And I've got to ask you, man, are you feeling better?
Currently, no, but we're getting there. Man, this sinus stuff, it's all in my chest, and when I wake up in the morning, it's all in my head and my chest, and it's just miserable. But man, the good Lord lets you be alive. You get to do another day. I popped some medicine. I'm trying to get rolling, and I probably need about 2 or 3 more days to pump some more meds in me, and so I can be back to close to normal. But hey, I'm going to be good to go for New Year's, right?
Hey, we got New Year's coming up, so you've got a couple more days to recoup, man.
That's right. So that's the main goal, is get better as quickly as possible so we can start 2026 off correctly.
Yes. All right. So, Heath, let's go ahead briefly and do the National Day of Today and the National History of Today. Heath, today is December the 30th, and I know that you love bologna, but it is now another pork favorite day today. Today is National Bacon Day.
Who doesn't love bacon?
I know.
Everybody loves bacon. Bacon makes everything better. Like, name me one thing that bacon doesn't make better.
Ice cream.
I don't know, man. I haven't tried it. But I'd be willing to.
Right.
I mean, you could literally put bacon on anything, and it's
Yeah.
better.
Yes.
So, I mean, you think about cooking a steak. Oh, let's wrap it in bacon. Let's give it some more flavor.
Yes.
I mean, it doesn't matter what you do. I mean, you could put a hot dog on the grill. I wonder what this would taste like with bacon. It would taste better.
Yeah. All right, Heath, let's go ahead and talk about a birthday today. And this guy actually is the same age as you. He was born in 1975. He is a professional American golfer. Today is the birthday of Tiger Woods.
I did not know I was 2.5 weeks older than Tiger Woods.
Yeah.
Wow, good for Tiger. I've never been a Tiger fan, but anybody that kind of went through what he's gone through, we all are waiting to see the old Tiger come back. I don't think we'll ever see that guy come back.
Right.
But I think we're all just kind of looking forward to seeing him kind of get a sense of himself. You know, Steve, it's kind of funny. I was watching a movie the other night. I've watched a lot of movies with my kids over the Christmas break. And every single time, I tell my kids during the movie, I was like, see, you make all this money and you think the rules don't apply to you, but they still do. Don't be that person when you grow up. And so it doesn't matter if you're Tiger Woods or the Wolf of Wall Street or anybody and everybody. Like almost every movie happens, the rags to riches story, like that applies to you. You have to follow the rules. So, I just thought it was kind of funny. But, yeah, Tiger Woods, like, I don't have to tell the police this. I don't have to do that. I don't have to give them my license over this wreck, and my wife beat me up. And you know what? Your wife beat you up because you didn't follow the rules of marriage.
Yeah.
Well, police took away your license because you didn't follow the rules. You have to follow the rules. The rules are there to protect you. The rules are there to protect us.
Yeah.
Just follow the rule. You're not above the law. So yeah. So with Tiger, we haven't heard any of those stories. He didn't go that opposite direction. He kind of went the right way since that incident.
Yes.
So you know what? Good for you, Tiger. Happy birthday, by the way.
And Heath, I did not have this on my bingo card. Check out what John Stringer is doing right now. He is currently sitting in a shooting house watching deer, listening to the Stingray show with a heater.
I'm glad you got a heater.
Yeah. John, thank you for listening to this show while watching deer in a shooting house. Thank you, man. That's awesome.
John, I hope you find something that comes across your way. I hope it's big. I hope it's beautiful.
Yeah.
And I hope you got time to clean it up.
Yes. So, dude, I did not have that on my bingo card.
And so, you know, anytime during the holidays, everything on the bingo card's open, man.
Yes.
I mean, if John texted the show and said he was on the beach and just saw a sea lion, like that would not shock me.
Right.
You know, if John texted us and said that he's under the weather and he's sick, that wouldn't shock me.
Right.
You know, I tell you, man, this is the crazy time of year where families might be at Disney, they might be at the beach, they might be snow skiing, they might be hunting, they might be renovating a room at their house.
Right.
You just never know.
All right. Heath, speaking of Disney, I'm going to read this off to you, and this is a crazy thing of the day here on the Stingray Show. Can you tell me what crazy event happened on this day at Disney in 1980? And this will make you laugh.
In 1980? I had just turned 5 years old. Did it happen at Disney World? Disneyland?
Disneyland in Anaheim, California.
Oh, then I really wouldn't have an idea if it happened at Disney World either. But no, I have. I'm guessing it has something to do with Hollywood and some kind of celebrity, something or another. Okay, what happened? A ride opened up.
According to a report, a letter arrived at Disneyland in Anaheim, California, addressed to Michael M. Mouse from the Office of the Director of Selective Service System. The letter recommended that Mickey Mouse, that he was in danger of becoming a draft dodger if he didn't comply to the Military Service Select Act and provide the requested information that they needed. According to the article, a Disney spokesperson came out and said, "We'll notify them that at 52, he's well over the draft age, and besides, he's a World War II veteran, and I suppose we should also point out that he's only a cartoon character."
It kind of reminds me of when Dave Ramsey would tell stories about the dogs or the cats getting credit cards in the mail. And they were like, "This is addressed to my dog. My dog doesn't need a credit card." So, so Mickey Mouse is getting threatened to be arrested because he didn't sign up to be part of the war. He's a draft dodger. And your dog can get a credit card through the mail.
What?
So, that's a little insane, man.
Somebody should be fired for making that critical error.
That's a little insane. Stephen, you're mentioning Mickey Mouse, and of course, we talk SEC football on the show almost every day, if not every day.
Yeah.
And the concussion protocol is like a serious thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but when I was, playing football back in the 1900s,
mm-hmm.
I know that's been a while, but, back in the 90s, when I played football and someone would ring your bell, they'd bring you to the sideline and they would just ask you simple questions like, "How many fingers am I holding up?"
Mm-hmm.
If you get the answer correct, you'd go back
out
in the
there.
game.
Yeah.
And so anyway, I got my bell rung one game, and Coach Pena, Tim Pena, was sitting there on the sideline, and he goes, "Is Mickey Mouse a dog or a cat?" And I looked at him like he was crazy, and I was like, "What are you talking about, Coach?" He goes, and then his eyes kind of perked up, and he goes, "Answer the question: is Mickey Mouse a dog or a cat?" I was like, "He's a mouse." He goes, "How many fingers am I holding up?" I'm like, "2." He goes, "He's ready. He's ready." I was like, What are we talking about?" I go back on the field, and we're like in the fourth quarter. Like, I came out after halftime, got my bell rung, and I missed like a whole quarter. And so after the game, my buddies were like tripping out, telling me, he's like, "Coach was asking you, is Mickey Mouse a dog or a cat?" You're like, "He's a cat. He's a cat." And then I would get frustrated with it. I was like, "Okay, he's a dog." And I was like, "He's a cat. He's a dog." I was like, "What do you want him to be?" And then when he finally asked me, all the wires just connected. And he's like, "Is Mickey Mouse a dog or a cat?" I was like, "What?" And that's when he said his eyes perked up. Like, "What are you talking about, Coach?" Yeah, right. Finally, everything just connected. And then they handed me my helmet, and I went back out there. Yeah. I'm glad we do it different now.
Yeah.
A whole lot different. I was not a good football player, by the way.
All right. So, Heath, let's go ahead and talk about another thing that was created on this day in 1873. I'm just going to go ahead and tell you because I'm not going to make you guess on this one. The American Meteorological Society was formed.
Well, look at you with your meteorology news there.
Yes.
Does that make you a nerd?
It does. Pretty much. All right. And Heath, finally, to wrap up this Stingray show, can you tell me what game show debuted on December the 30th of 1963?
Ooh.
And it was very, very popular.
Password was very strong back then. Our super password. But I don't know, man. I know The Price is Right is old, but I don't think it's that old.
Mm-mm.
I don't think it's Wheel of Fortune because I think that happened in the 70s.
Yeah.
Thanks to our good friend Tim Brando on the show telling us that he used to host it before Pat Sajak. I don't know, man. It's not going to be Family Feud.
No.
Because that was
Which,
the
by the
70s.
way, Which, by the way, Family Feud is an amazing show, by the way.
Oh, yeah. It's still on for a reason.
Yes.
But, yeah, here, I'll tell you this real quick before we get going. Like, I haven't done this since, like, maybe the summer. I had a miserable summer, but you knew about that. I'm not going to dive into that. If there was bad luck, it happened over the summer, but I was so busy and everything. Like, I didn't have time to watch movie, TV, anything. And so if I ever sat down to eat at the house, if I made myself a sandwich or something,
right,
I would put on the old Price is Right and watch it because I didn't really care what happened. But I used to be amazed, like, brand new car. And it was like $5,000. And I was like, what in the world? And so, but watch that. But the reason I tell you all that, Stephen, when they used to have a brand new car on The Price is Right back in the early days, in the early part of the show, you know what song they played? It was the theme song to Family Feud.
Right.
And the Family Feud came along. It took, like, I Googled it and, like, went down a rabbit hole for like 4 minutes. Yeah. And I was like, wow. And so Family Feud took that song for their own to be their theme song, and Price is Right was not allowed to use it anymore. I was like, what in the world? So yeah, it was like a secondary song to Price is Right. And all the Hollywood folks were like, no, that's too good of a song. We're going to give it to Family Feud now. So there you go. But yeah, I have no idea what game show. I'll say something like Password. I don't think it's Jeopardy. The match game. I don't know. What do you got?
December the 30th of 1963 debuted Let's Make a Deal.
Get out.
Let's Make a Deal.
All right. So, like, one of my all-time favorite Jimmy Buffett songs, I will post this on the show, Facebook show, is Door Number 3.
Yep.
And Jimmy Buffett said it was a song that he came up with. There was some guys working, and they were all talking about where you should stop on Let's Make a Deal and when you should go for it. It's absolutely hilarious. So Jimmy tells a song as if he was ever on Let's Make a Deal and things go south for him. And so yeah, his whole life is waiting behind Door Number 3.
Yes. All right, so Heath, that is going to wrap up this edition of the Stingray Show. This is also going to end this year of Stingray shows because Heath and I are taking off Wednesday and Thursday for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. However, we will return on Friday with a recap of the college football playoff quarterfinals and a preview of the Duke's Mayo Bowl between Wake Forest and Mississippi State. That is Friday night. So, Heath, any final words before we get out of here?
No, man. My son's asking me here last second if we should go to the Duke's Mayo Bowl. I haven't looked at travel prices. I meant to do that last night, and then I fell asleep.
Right.
I highly doubt that we'll drive that. If we found a cheap enough flight, we might go. I don't know. Mm-hmm. But that game's at like 7 p.m. at night, right?
Yeah, it is. So I'm glad it's late.
Yeah. And so I had to hit my cough button there.
And sadly enough, that is the last regular bowl game of the bowl game season, because after that, it is all about the college football playoffs and the national championship. So no more football on Saturdays this year or next year.
Oh, that's really sad.
I know. So Mississippi State and Wake Forest will wrap it up on Friday.
Dude, we can't end on a bummer like that. You're bringing everybody down, Steven. That's the
I will tell
show.
you, Monday night, we have the division, okay, the FCS National Championship on ESPN. So thankfully, they get a little love, and they get a National Championship game on ESPN. And that game will also be played at the Music City Bowl Stadium of Nissan Stadium in Nashville.
And we're not even talking about Division II yet. I mean,
No.
you can watch Division II and see the next Trinidad Harris, maybe, or Trinidad Chambliss. See Trinidad Chambliss. You know, Stephen, it still blows my mind that, you know, whenever we watch pro football, I always loved seeing, you know, at the beginning of the show where they talk about the starting lineups and what school they went to and this and that. Now they announce it themselves, you know, and some guys talk about their high school they went to, but you'll see Travis Kelce, you know, Cincinnati or whatever, you know, Jalen Hurts, Oklahoma or Alabama, whatever he's feeling like that day. But, you know, it always blows my mind when you hear, you know, some random guy, Dyersburg State University. You're like, what?
Right.
This guy went to Dyersburg State? They're like, well, I don't even know the mascot to Dyersburg State. And then you go down that rabbit hole, see what the mascot is, how big the school is. Like, the school is only 4,000 people. How do they have a football team? And whatever it might be. But, you know, you always get blown away that some guy from some small school made it big.
Right.
And you know, it always blows my mind. And so now with the transfer portal, these guys are moving up. You know, Trinidad Chambliss is the perfect example. Was that Division II, won it all. Wasn't even good to go to FCS, Stephen.
Right.
Wasn't good enough to go to junior college.
Yep.
You know, like behind Division I, you know, let's call it what it is. You got the Power Four, you got the Group of Six, and then you got, you know, FCS. I would probably throw in junior college, and then you got Division II.
Yeah.
And so he was playing down here in Division II, and now he's got his team in the playoff. They've already won a game, and they're one way from going to the semifinal. Like, how did you not love that story of Trinidad Chambliss? How can I mean, you just got to be a communist if you didn't love that story.
Right.
But it just blows my mind that these kids from small schools that never get the opportunity are now getting the shot. And those are the good news stories about the transfer portal that we like. Not everything about the transfer portal is evil. You know, Jalen Hurts, if in the old system, Jalen Hurts wouldn't be in the NFL. He wouldn't win a Super Bowl.
Right.
He would have been a Heisman Trophy, you know, up for the Heisman Trophy. So with all that, there is some good with the transfer portal.
All right. So, Heath, as we walk out the door, let's go ahead briefly and pick the remainder of the SEC games and the college football playoffs up until Friday. We will begin with tomorrow's matchup in the morning, 11 a.m. in the ReliaQuest Bowl, which was formerly the Outback Bowl. Iowa and Vanderbilt. There is a big opt-out for Vanderbilt. The tight end will not be there. Stowers opted out. I'm still going with Diego Pavia, getting Vandy to 11 wins because Iowa's offense is still putrid.
Wow. Yeah, Iowa's fans, I'll say this, Vanderbilt, prepare yourself. Iowa people on game day are not nice people.
No.
I mean, they're not over the top and boisterous as LSU fans, but they're over the top and boisterous.
Yeah.
Like, they're just a bunch of Midwest nerds that, you know, they're all going to be red as lobsters because they don't know when to get out of the sun, and they come down to Florida and they have too much fun. Because I've been to the ReliaQuest Bowl a couple of times, or the Outback Bowl.
Yeah.
And I've seen Iowa there before, and they're fans. I remember we went to breakfast that morning. That's usually the first game. Is that the first game of the morning?
It is.
Yeah. I was about to say, the Outback Bowl / ReliaQuest Bowl is always usually the first bowl to start things off for the day.
Yeah.
But for New Year's. But I remember going to breakfast and running into some Iowa fans, and they were talking smack, and I'm like, dude, you look like some nerd that lives out in a trailer park out in the county. Like,
right.
What? You know, what are you barking at, little man?
Right.
And so, yeah, crazy, insane. So, but I will say this. They drank all the beer out of the stadium, Iowa fans did. Like, before the game, all the Iowa fans were like on the state side of it. And I'm like, what's going on over here? Why are all these Iowa fans over here? It's like they ran out of beer on the other side of the stadium and they're over here. I was like, are you serious? And like before halftime, all the beer was gone out of the stadium. thanks to the Iowa fans. So prepare yourself, Vanderbilt fans
Right.
and parents. So yeah, but Tampa's a fun place, man. Yeah, I think the team still go to Busch Gardens. Stephen, have you ever been to Busch Gardens?
I've not.
Go down there, ride all the roller coasters. Fun times.
All right. Also, on New Year's Eve at 2 o'clock on ABC, it is the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl between Michigan and Texas. Michigan has a new head coach, but an interim coach in this game, and Texas absolutely got gutted by the transfer portal. Baxter and Wisner will not be available for this game. Who is basically going to win this game with all of the opt-outs, Michigan or Texas? I'm got to go with the better quarterback here. I still think Bryce Underwood is the better player than Arch Manning. I will take Michigan over Texas because of the opt-outs for the Longhorns.
Wow. Both these teams had a lot of news since their last game,
Yes.
and it hasn't been good. I bet. Should hit the cough button there. Howdy, y'all. I'm sorry. But, you look at Texas, they lost all the guys, in the transfer portal, guys opting out for the NFL draft, so they lost a lot there.
Yep.
Michigan, on the other hand, I don't know if you heard, Stephen, but they've had some craziness happen over there with their team.
Yes.
So, the head coach replacement and the arrest and what do they call it? An improper relationship, I believe is the term they used.
Yeah.
And so why don't we just call things what they really are? Stop the PR stuff. I mean, just call it what it is. So anyway, with that being said, I'm looking forward to seeing this game because I love this, Stephen, about college football, and I might be just one of the few fans. But when blowouts happen, I really enjoy it because you get to see the young talent on both sides play.
Right.
And you get to see who's hungry and trying to make a name for themselves. And those are the guys who are not just out there for mop-up duty. Those are the guys are clawing and scratching, doing anything and everything they can to make a name for themselves. And, Stephen, I'll say this, and this goes to previous conversation. There's some guy there that might be like a redshirt sophomore that hasn't really touched the field that's going to get to play or be too deep in this game. And he knows they've already recruited over him, or there's, someone in the portal that's coming to take his job, or some JUCO kid they've signed already. And he's going out there and putting much as he can on tape to get in the transfer portal to end up at like Tulane next year.
Right.
To end up at South Florida or Memphis or somewhere. So you respect those guys, man. And that's what I love about the new bowl games is guys looking for that opportunity and doing everything they can to prove it.
Heath, Wisner, Baxter, DeAndre Moore is gone, as well as a couple of the defensive guys in Trey Moore, Muhammad, and then Tiafe. All of them are gone for Texas. The only issue for Michigan are coaching changes because of the player opt-outs and the players leaving. That's why I'm going with Michigan, because at least their players are still there. That's why I'm going go blue over Texas.
Sorry, another yawn. That's very fair, Stephen. That's extremely fair to have that line of thinking and pick a game off that. I think it's completely fair.
Who you got?
I will say that on the show earlier this week, when we had Mark Schlabach, ESPN senior writer, college football insider, SEC guru and insider. Mark made the statement that one Jordan Ball, running back for Florida, might be in the transfer portal and might be heading to Texas. Well, he is in the transfer portal. We know that.
Right.
But looks like Texas is going to be his landing spot. Dude, Jordan Ball had an incredible year last year. He's an incredible talent. Could you imagine having a run game like Jordan Ball and having Eli Manning? I mean, what if they get a guy like Cam Coleman out of Auburn who got in the transfer portal yesterday?
I know.
I mean, what if they get a Cam Coleman and go from there? Dude, I cannot wait to see the bidding wars with like Georgia, LSU, and Texas over guys like Cam Coleman.
Yeah.
Like, I can't wait to see how this turns out. So, yeah, it's going to be interesting. Georgia usually cherry picks SEC talent. I think they're going to have a lot of problems with Texas and LSU this year coming in over the top of them.
All right, Heath, go blue or hook 'em horns? Who you got?
You know what? I think Michigan will win this game, but I'm going to pull for Texas. So you know what? I'm behind Arch. I'm behind this Texas team. I think they might can surprise some people. This is also a chance for Arch to kind of make a statement going into next year.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll give you the Longhorns. I think there's been a lot of craziness over there at Michigan and Ann Arbor. A lot of distractions. And I think some guys are just might be there for the bowl trip to get some sun and get out of town.
Right.
You know, go to Disney World and leave after the game. So I'm going to take the Longhorns.
All right, let's start the college football playoffs with the first one, New Year's Eve. It is going to be the Cotton Bowl. It is going to be the U of Miami versus Ohio State. The winner moves on to the semifinals. Miami is 11-2. Ohio State is 12-1. And I will remind everyone, Carson Beck in the win versus Texas A&M did not pass for 100 yards in that football game. Heath, this is my lock for the day on the Stingray Show. Ohio State blows out Miami there in the Cotton Bowl. I think this is going to be a repeat of what we saw last year with Ohio State and Oregon. I like Ohio State in the rout.
I think that's very fair. I think that's extremely good logic. I'd like to see Miami make this thing interesting. And I think Miami's defensive line will make it interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Miami wanted to make the A&M game a rock fight. They were like, I think we got bigger rocks than A&M. Let's make it a rock fight. They're not used to rock fights. Let's make it a rock fight. We'll beat them. They accomplished that perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're going to try to take the same approach this time around, but I don't think their rocks are bigger than the ones that you find in Columbus, Ohio.
No.
So I think Ohio State, they got bigger rocks, and they got Buckeyes too.
Yes.
And yeah, I've tried to find a way for Miami to win this game, and can they? Yes. Will they? I just don't see it happening. I think the rest of us don't.
H-I-O. Let's go.
What's the spread on this game?
9.5 Ohio State.
See, I was going to say this thing should be around 10 points or more.
Yeah.
I never look at the line. I never bet. I haven't betted on a game since I lost all my money in third grade because of John Elway losing the Super Bowl to the Redskins. I learned my lesson that day. I was actually in fourth grade. Yeah. Yeah, don't save your good hard-earned cash. You put it in your pocket. I take that back. I did bet on some college baseball games when I went to Las Vegas back in like 2002, and I won every single one of them. I loved it. But anyway, with that being said, I really like to see Miami make this a game, and I think they might for a quarter and a half. But I just think Ohio State's way too much talent, way too much defense. And here's the thing. I think Ohio State can make some mistakes and still win this game. I don't see Miami making mistakes and still winning this game.
No.
So, yeah, razor thin margin there for the Hurricanes. So, yeah, can they play a perfect game and squeeze it out? Yeah, they can. Well, do I think they will? No, I think it's double digits. I think it's multiple scores, and yeah, I think Ohio State wins this game and moves on.
Capital One Orange Bowl on New Year's Day, 11 a.m. on ESPN. The Red Raiders of Texas Tech taking on Dan Lanning and the Oregon Ducks. Heath, who you got? Guns up or the Ducks moving on to the semifinals?
I think Texas Tech is the better team.
Yeah.
But I just think the Ducks might have something. I'll be pulling for Texas Tech. I got family that lives in Lubbock. I got some cousins that went to Texas Tech. So, yeah, I'm all about it. But can they win this game? Yeah. Do they have to do anything special to win this game? No. They got plenty of talent. But something just doesn't sit well with me with this game. And Dan Lanning, man, we've seen Dan Lanning pull some games out that he shouldn't have this season and before. So, I don't know. This game I'm really looking forward to watching. I think Texas Tech will win. But something's just telling me that Oregon's the team to go with on this one.
Guns up, baby. Guns up.
I'm with you. I don't know if they can pull it off. I hope they
That
do.
defense is for real. I'm going Texas Tech, moving on to the semifinals there in the Orange Bowl.
Hey, what's the spread on this one?
It is Oregon 2.5.
Ooh. So Vegas thinks a little bit like I do.
Vegas thinks like you do, and ESPN thinks like I do, with Texas Tech at 51.5% chance to win.
Very interesting. So it's almost a pick 'em.
Yeah.
This game's going to be fun. I hope it's not a blowout and a letdown, and I hope it's not a 10-7 game either, although I love defensive struggles. But I just think this one's going to be a fun one. I think it's going to be a shootout.
All right, let's go to the Rose Bowl. And you talked about the margin for error for the Miami Hurricanes is razor thin. It is also razor thin for the Crimson Tide of Alabama, going up against that gritty, hard-nosed Indiana football team. This team shut down Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game. Indiana is currently a 7-point favorite in Pasadena. It will be a wet game there in Pasadena with showers and rain throughout the game. Heath, Indiana or Alabama moving on to the semifinals. I have the Heisman Trophy winner in Mendoza knocking off Alabama, because Alabama's inability to run the football consistently and the inconsistencies of Ty Simpson will come back to derail the season for Alabama there in the Rose Bowl.
Yeah, Steven, there's something I just don't get with this Alabama offense just yet. They have talented guys who can run the ball. They have talented linemen. And I feel like it's not one of those things where it's a personnel issue. I think it's not part of the game plan early. I think they kind of pass to set up the run and keep everyone off balance. And then I think they make a mistake, or they get behind, or the offense doesn't click early and they get behind, and they're kind of forced to pass. I mean, kind of like Georgia last season. Georgia started almost every game down by double digits. And they had to ban the run game.
Right.
So, and then they would win most of their games. So that's kind of where I'm at with Alabama, is they don't put an emphasis on the run. And establish the run game first and then get to the pass. And that's okay. It's worked most of the time. They're in the college football playoff. It's worked most of the time for Alabama. So that's kind of where I'm at with this Alabama offense. Can they run the ball? Yes, I think they can. Do they have the talent? Yes, they absolutely. Daniel Hill's a wonderful talent. So the reflections kind of get me. What does it say?
When was the last time you saw the matchup predictor for Alabama give them only a 28% chance to win?
Ooh. Wow.
That gives Indiana a 71% chance to win based on the college football predictor.
Wow.
That does not look well for Alabama.
No. I'm telling you, man, I think Alabama surprises some people in this game. I'll be shocked if Alabama loses this game by 3 scores. No. will I be shocked if Alabama wins this game by 2 scores? No, I won't.
Right.
This game's just going to be one of those things. But the one thing that we've noticed about Alabama, and we've noticed this in their losses, they come out not focused. They come out, they're not sharp, and they just kind of abandon their game plan running the ball and strictly get to passing it. And they got a lot of talent to pass it. But
Heath, and to your point, where has Ryan Williams been this year? Talk about a sophomore slump. My goodness, man. He was Mr. Reliable last year. The guy has completely faded off this year. Where has Ryan Williams been?
There's a rumor. Again, I want to stress the word rumor out there. I have no idea if it's true or not.
Right.
That's why I'd say rumor for the 3rd time.
Yeah.
So for the 4th time, the rumor is that he didn't get to play. What was it? The SEC champion? Was it the Iron Bowl? The SEC? It was one of the last games of the season. He didn't play at all. Didn't touch the field. It was because the rumor is that he was talking to other teams and talking about getting into the portal, and Alabama found out about it. And
I think he didn't take the field at all against East Tennessee State, the FCS game before Auburn. I don't think he played in that game.
So cough coming.
You're fine. Hey, man, it happens, man. It happens. No worries.
But anyway, that was the rumor that they kind of sat him disciplined because he was talking to other teams during the season and blah, blah, blah. And, that was the rumor. I have no idea if it's true. So, but rumor is that he's heading to Texas. Could you imagine Cam Coleman and Ryan Williams along with Jordan Ball all on the same team? Like that would be fun. Right. That would be a fun team to watch next year. So transfer portal is going to explode here, Stephen, here in a couple of weeks. I mean, January 2nd is when it opens officially.
Yes.
So, I mean, here in just a couple of days, it's just going to explode and our jaws are going to drop and we're going to be, oh, wow, look at Texas getting all this talent.
Yep.
Where did they get all this oil money from? Yeah.
Hey, Alabama, Indiana, let's go. Who you got?
I'm going to lean Alabama, but I'm not comfortable in that. I'm being an SEC homer. I'm being an SEC homer, but I just something tells me something about Alabama in this game. They find a way to win. I'll say this: late in the game, I do like Indiana better to make a play than Alabama.
Yes.
So I think Alabama needs to have at least a 2-score lead as they try to close this one out.
All right, you're an SEC homer, just like you talked about. Well, one of the SEC teams in the final game has to lose. It is Georgia, and it is Ole Miss. It is the nightcap of New Year's night, and it is in New Orleans. Last year, Georgia lost. In New Orleans, you know they would like to get the bad taste out of their mouth after losing the last time they went to the Sugar Bowl. But here comes Ole Miss, a team that really played them well a couple of months ago in Athens, Georgia, where Ole Miss, like we talked about yesterday, was spotted 17 points in the fourth quarter for a 9-point win by the Georgia Bulldogs. Heath, are you going with Pete Golding and Ole Miss and the dream season continuing, or are you going with Kirby Smart and Georgia moving to the semifinals?
America is going to side with the Rebels just because they got sympathy and empathy for them, and they should. They lost their coach dramatically, and
they didn't lose their coach. He ditched them. Let's be honest.
There you go.
He ditched them. I mean, let's just call it what it is. He ditched them, man.
Yeah, so we got to look at the whole entire situation.
Yeah.
Look, I think the drama and all the noise is going to catch up with Ole Miss.
Yeah.
Can they eliminate it? It's kind of like Birmingham Southern a couple of years ago in college baseball in the playoffs. The school shut down and they were still playing baseball, and they kept going and they kept winning. They kept on, and they kept on, and they kept on, and you're just kind of pulling for those guys to finish it off. And then it kind of fell apart there at the end. And I think that's kind of where we are with Ole Miss. We're kind of pulling for those guys. We're wishing them the best. America wants them to win. But I don't know, man. I mean, the Trinidad Chambliss story is a great story. You know, you lost your coach. He ditched you. He left you in his lab and blah, blah, blah. And
Right.
So yeah, you're kind of feeling sorry for the orphaned Ole Miss Rebels.
Yeah.
And I don't know, man. But I just think all that noise catches up with them. A lot of fans, a lot of Ole Miss media were complaining that a lot of the staff was in Baton Rouge doing a lot of work and not preparing for this Georgia game. It was like, this isn't right. This is the biggest game in school history, and half our staff's in Baton Rouge recruiting.
Well, the main man, though, is right there in Oxford, and that, of course, is the new head coach, Pete Golding, and really that's all you need, because when you come down to it, it's his game plan.
Yeah, I just I don't know. I mean, who's the better coach? The guy that's won a couple of national titles and multiple SEC titles and Kirby Smart?
Yeah.
Or the guy coaching in his second game ever?
Kirby.
Right. And so I just think, you know, I think Georgia has a more talented staff.
Yeah.
I think Georgia has more talented players. I
Maybe
think Georgia has less distractions.
Maybe not on defense, though, because that Georgia defense is
At times, yeah. I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. That Ole Miss front's tough. It really is. That Ole Miss front is very tough. That D-line's fun to watch play. They really are. But I don't know, man. I just think there's too many negatives going on, too much noise, too many distractions going on with Ole Miss. I've got to go with Georgia. They're the more talented team. The coaching staff seems more in sync, and they got a better head coach.
Dude, let me also say this as well. The darlings, as you want to call it, for the playoffs this year have got to be Indiana, Ole Miss, and then I would also say Texas Tech, because neither three of those teams have really had a lot of positivity when it comes to college football on their side. So I would think that if Ole Miss gets eliminated, they would push it towards either Texas Tech or Indiana.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think everyone's kind of pulling for Indiana.
Yes.
And how could you not?
Right.
How could you not?
And then, of course, you got that team in Lubbock, man.
You know, I hear some of the haters talking about they just bought their team. Every team in the playoffs bought their team.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to tell me Alabama didn't buy their team?
Right.
You don't tell me Georgia didn't buy their team? You know, or especially Oregon. They didn't buy their team. Ohio State didn't buy their team. Come on. Everyone bought their team.
Got that check mark money now. Come on.
Name me a team that's in any bowl game that didn't buy their team.
Correct.
Thank you.
Correct. All right. So, Heath, we will return Friday morning when the new year dawns to talk about Mississippi State and Mississippi State and Wake Forest. We will also do a recap of the quarterfinal round of college football in the playoffs. Tomorrow evening, which is Wednesday, we have the first quarterfinal game, which is the Cotton Bowl between Miami and Ohio State, and then all of the other ones are on New Year's Day with Oregon and Texas Tech, then Alabama and Indiana, followed by Ole Miss and Georgia. All of those, the winners will move on. The losers are done for the season. Heath, have a wonderful, wonderful for New Year's Eve and New Year's Day to everyone out there. Be safe and do everything responsibly for New Year's, and we will see you on the Friday edition of the Stingray Show for a recap and a preview of the Duke's Mayo Bowl that is Friday night at 7 p.m. between Mississippi State and Wake Forest. Catch you on Friday.
Stephen, have a good one, and Happy New Year, brother.
Happy New Year, and Heath, I will remind you, do not forget to eat your black-eyed peas on New Year's Day, or you won't come into any money in 2026.
Brother, I've been eating black-eyed peas every year, and I'm starting to wonder if it works.
Guys, be safe. Have a wonderful New Year's, and we will catch you in the new year on Monday morning. We will see you then as well, but we will see you before then on Friday.
Hey, Stephen, for you and everyone watching, I wish for everyone and yourself in 2026, skinny health and a fat wallet, because I got those backwards and reverse in 2025.
Yes, that is correct. So thank you, man, and hopefully everybody will enjoy their college football. But people over this holiday season will be very disappointed because some teams will be eliminated and their teams and seasons will be over.
Stephen, Happy New Year, brother.
See you, man, on Friday. And Heath, stay right there because I need to talk to you after the show.
Nope. My contract's done for the year. I'm out.
Ladies and gentlemen, Bill Ferguson of South's Finest Meats, the official sponsor of the Stingray Show, has a message for you.
Everything we do here is fresh and custom made, custom to order. I tell people when they come in, if you don't see what you like, ask somebody. We've got the capability to process it, make it. If you want a different blend of hamburger meat, we'll do you a brisket blend. We'll do you a chuck blend. We'll do you a sirloin blend. We do all that right here. We are a butcher shop. That's what we do. So please don't be afraid to ask if you don't see what you like. We can make you any size patty you want. We can make you any amount you want. People call me and say, well, how many patties come in the box? Well, ma'am, how many would you like in a box? You want 12, we'll put 12. You want 25, we'll put 25.
That's just one of the many things that South's Finest Meats has to offer, the official butcher shop of the Stingray Show. Christmas time and the holiday season is fastly approaching, and let me tell you about the best place to get good-looking game day gear. J&J Apparel is your trusted location for one-of-a-kind, officially licensed collegiate apparel for the following teams: Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. They have been serving those fan bases since 2004. Get it online at jnjapparel.net. Once again, that is jnjapparel.net, and there you will find unique polos, tees, and hats for Alabama, Auburn, Mississippi State, and Ole Miss. So head on over there now to J&J's website and get some officially licensed collegiate apparel for the fan in your life for Alabama, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, and Auburn through J&J Apparel. We all enjoy the changing of the seasons. Fall is a special time to be thankful for our families and many blessings. It is also a great time, though, to review your insurance coverages. Alpha Insurance and hometown agent Jeff Nee can help you personalize your insurance needs. The more you protect, the more you save. With helpful customer service teams right here to serve you in Alabama and over in Mississippi, you can count on Alpha to provide the insurance plan that provides the protection that you need. For all your auto, home, life, and business insurance needs, call Alpha agent Jeff Nee or drop by his office at 202 McFarland Boulevard East, Suite 101 in Tuscaloosa, Alabama. And remember, with Jeff Nee, the more you protect, the more you save.